The story begins with a young man, Alex, who discovers the creepiest thing possible, his own body dead on the floor. Next to it is a piece of paper that says, "Watch me." Inside, there is a flash drive. He plugs it in and sees himself. He doesn't remember recording this and is filled with pure fear. In the video, he assures himself that he is not crazy or high and needs to listen very carefully. It all started a couple of weeks before, when a woman named Rebecca shows up with Man in Black. She is an employee of a private scientific research institute focused on advanced technologies. They cooperate with the National Security Agency of the United States. She offers him a substantial amount of money for a one-time job, as he is one of the best cryptographers. However, first he must sign a contract stating that any further information will never be made public, as it is government secret. He needs the money, so he signs the paper. Then she reveals that an unregistered American satellite, which the USA never launched, has reached Earth with a coded message that they believe was sent by the American government from the future. And they need Alex to decrypt the message. Alex gets scared and starts rethinking everything, and she immediately sends him a large amount of money, so he agrees. He gets into a car, and they put him to sleep with an injection. After he wakes up in an unknown place, Rebecca shows him the laboratory where the satellite is. He tells her that this could take days, weeks, or even months, but she assures him that they sent the satellite to this specific time for a reason. They believed that they can crack the code. He tells her that he can crack the code, but he needs a few things: a coffee pot, a mini fridge full of beer, and a bottle of bourbon that is at least 20 years old. 5 weeks later, Alex is still working hard but has made zero progress. Rebecca suggests he take a day off, but he tells her he needs to crack the code, not a day off. While working one day, he starts seeing a young woman, decoding the same script as he is. Suddenly, he bleeds from his nose, and the woman is no longer there. The next day, he sees a bunch of hieroglyphs written on the bed, and it's actually a name. He continues to work and finally makes some progress. In the code are drawings of an unknown device. After seeing his work, Rebecca announces that he is done here. He wants to uncover the whole mystery, but she tells him they don't need him anymore. They put him to sleep, and after he wakes up at home, he feels incredibly sick and vomits for days. He also experiences weird hallucinations and constantly hears a voice telling him, "Now you can see what we see." Suddenly, the doorbell rings, and two strange-looking men are outside his door wanting to ask him a couple of questions. "I'm sorry, not strange-looking man, terrifying to the depths of your soul." They are curious, why did he decrypted the code? And he tells them he did it for money. They call him selfish, saying that he never thinks about the consequences of his actions. They are talking very strangely, like they know him for his entire life. And he asks them for identification, but they just start repeating, "Do you feel responsible for the harm that will come from the weapon?" This confuses him even more, as he didn't even know it was a weapon. They then ask him if he feels regret now that he knows it's a weapon. Alex's head starts hurting really badly, and he asks them to leave. After they leave, his headache immediately stops. He sits at his computer, and a call comes from Rebecca. She reminds him of the signed non-disclosure agreements, and he realizes that the Institute is watching him. A couple of hours later, Alex starts writing down what he remembers from the code, and suddenly the entire house loses electricity. He goes outside, and what he sees will leave you in shock. One of the two men who came to him earlier today is glitching in place. It's like he is there, and not there at the same time. Suddenly, he starts growing 100 times his size. Terrified, Alex rushes inside his house, still not believing his own eyes, while something stands behind him. He rushes upstairs, and loud, creepy screams can be heard outside. He looks out of the window, and a giant's hand is reaching for him. He tries to make the first contact, and when morning comes, Rebecca finds Alex all possessed with the work. He tries to explain that humanity lives in two-dimensional space, and that there is a highly developed civilization that exists in both space and time. They are here in the past, present, and future at the same time, watching everything that is happening through some kind of window in time. He tries to convince Rebecca of the danger of the device they are building, and that it could start World War III. She tells him that they know about his illness and that he is hallucinating, probably due to his brain tumor. He blames the Institute for putting him in a room with a radioactive device that caused his tumor to develop. Back in the present, Alex pulls his dead body and buries it in the forest. He then returns to his computer and continues to listen to the story from his future self. The Alex from the future tells him that he knew something evil and bad was about to happen, but they didn't listen to him. He also mentions that he wasn't the only cryptographer they hired. The woman Alex had a vision about also worked for them. He finds her address, and when the woman named Beth opens the door, He tells her he was hired by the same institute. She immediately closes the door. He shouts that he is dying from cancer and only has 6 months left. She opens the door and tells him that she only has 2 months left. They were in the same room and are now both dying from cancer. As they share their discoveries, she informs him that there is another cryptographer, Cipherman, with whom she communicates through the computer. He sends her tasks to solve, and it's her way of having fun while waiting to die. She suddenly starts feeling dizzy, and Alex takes her to her bed. While he goes downstairs, he has a vision of Beth's entire life, where she has to say goodbye to her husband as he goes off to the military. Then, her husband's comrades inform her of his death, and shortly thereafter, attempted to end her own life with pills. Suddenly, Cipherman sends her another message. Alex responds, pretending to be Beth, but Cipherman quickly realizes it's not her and disconnects. He takes all the previous tasks from Cipherman. In the morning, Beth finds him with the papers, and he tells her that all of this is pieces of a puzzle that, when assembled, can provide answers. She shares that she also sees the humanoid alien beings, and even hears the voices of the dead. But the creepy thing is that she starts hearing her own voice. She is constantly thinking about the message from the future. What if it's possible to contact the sender? She tells him that she only wants to die in peace and asks him to leave. When he gets home, people from the institute are waiting for him. Rebecca orders him to never meet with Beth again and urges him to use the remaining time wisely. Upon entering the house, he sees that all his paperwork and every discovery are gone. Meanwhile, Beth sees a bright light and feels sick. The light turns red and she screams in fear. While Alex drowns his thoughts in alcohol, a message from Cipherman appears on his computer. Alex thinks it's Rebecca behind this nickname, when suddenly the doorbell rings. It's Beth. Cipherman directed her here. He gave her the blueprints, which the duo uses to create a virus that can destroy a deadly device. They work all night to the morning when suddenly Rebecca bursts into the house, saying that people from the Institute will be here any minute. They ask if she is Cipherman, and she responds that she is not, but she knows him. She has been trying to stop this from the inside and tells them that no one can be trusted. She gives them the address of a scientist named Miles Driscoll, aka Cipherman, the founder of the Institute, and insists they need to go to him immediately. As the people from the Institute arrive, the duo escapes through the back door while Rebecca is captured. They arrive at Miles's house, where he immediately recognizes both of them, as he has always followed their work. He informs them that this is not the first encounter with their strange friends. There was another satellite that orbited the Earth for hundreds of years before humans advanced technologically enough to retrieve it, which happened 50 years ago. Beth adds that they were probably waiting for us, as time means nothing to them. Alex says that if this has already happened before, it could be stopped. Miles explains that it's not quite the same. The first satellite was an anchor to connect their dimension with ours, as he believes they are interdimensional beings. He tried contacting the Institute with his discoveries, but they called him crazy. He also developed a small, non-fatal tumor that enabled him to see them. He explains that they don't exist on the same linear time as humans do. We are so primitive, while they are so much more advanced. For them, time is simply one moment. It doesn't flow. Alex wonders if the first device was the anchor. What is the second device for? Miles explains it this way. Imagine they are watching Earth like a videotape, and all humans are characters. The first device was like a remote, allowing them to jump around and observe the story but not to interact. This new device will enable them to reach right through the screen. He also informs them that the second device has started working, and time in the Institute has begun glitching. People are walking in slow motion, looping conversations, and reliving the same moment over and over again. Miles has just begun to understand all of this, but can't explain everything completely. Even their appearance is formed by the human brain itself. We experience them as humanoid beings because it's the only way our brain can process them. In reality, they look completely different. There is one in his backyard. It hasn't moved an inch for more than 30 years, and Miles looks at it every day. The more he looked at him, the more his appearance changed. He tells them that they need to destroy the virus they developed would work, but they don't have time, so he suggests them to use a bomb and destroy it, and gives them a map so they can find the Institute. Suddenly, an alien from the backyard starts raging and hitting the house. The duo immediately escapes, while Miles tries to calm him down. After a long road, they find a hatch and sneak inside, where they separate to increase their chances of finding the lab. Alex sees one of the guards stuck in a time loop, and another one just floating around, while Beth finds a lab but gets stuck in a time loop as well. She can't reach the satellite, so she takes a bomb they previously made and pushes it towards the satellite. but when she tries to leave, she just appears next to the bomb, realizing she is stuck in place. Meanwhile, Alex enters a completely dark room. He sees a light and starts running towards it with a bomb. But the further he goes, the light gets farther away, and he runs in slow motion. Meanwhile, Beth's bomb countdown starts glitching because time does not flow normally. While Alex is still running, the alien suddenly shows up and literally disintegrates him into small particles. Seconds later, his appearance returns to normal, and he screams in the most horrible pain. The alien sitting across from him tells him to relax, and Alex wonders if he is dead. The alien simply replies, "Not in the way you would understand." On the question, "What the hell are you?" he responds, "Nothing you would understand." He explains that they are just curious about humans and their experience of time. For the aliens, time is incomprehensible and tedious. They see humans as being trapped, forced to constantly go through the same events. While the aliens exist outside of time and space, present in every moment, time is a mystery to them. The alien is fascinated by humans, observing how time determines everything for them. He muses on what it would mean if humans no longer had to wait for something, recognizing that for them, time is both a gift and a curse. Linear time seems such an impractical state of being. With every new generation, the process starts from the beginning, a laborious cycle of empty promises. Forever, a child in the dark. How cruel is it that nature punishes creatures so much? He asks Alex how painful it must be to possess self-awareness and consciousness as he does, forever trapped in a lower dimension. Alex is under unimaginable pain and can't endure their dimension, so the alien offers to return him to the moment before he got sick. Equipped with all the knowledge he now has, Alex tells him that he would never have gone to the Institute in the first place. The alien is surprised and wants to find out if making a different choice can change the outcome. Suddenly, Alex finds himself back in his home. He starts recording a video, but he quickly realizes that nothing can be changed because everything has already happened. The satellite has already been found, the code decrypted. It all ended before it even began. He puts a flash drive into an envelope and falls to the ground. Alex from the past is watching the video, and the last words from Alex from the future are, "Maybe you can't change what would happen, but you can change how you get there. Warn Beth, lie to her, spare her from the truth, and then forget this message. Forget what will happen. Forget what's already happened. Just forget everything and simply live." Wow, guys, this movie really shook my brain. Is time real? Do other dimensional beings really exist? I have so many questions. Please share your thoughts in the comments, and let's solve this mystery together. This is where the film ends. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video. Thanks for watching.